Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends, and welcome to the last Sunday in October's Talking Town, the flagship podcast. I'm, of course, your host, the Gov, and we are here to chew the fat over a game which saw neither team want to evidently defend because it finished Charlton 4, Ipswich Town 4, took the lead twice, couldn't get the job done. One of those games that comes around every decade or so. Is it more of a symptom of Ipswich Town at the moment where we can't seem to hold leads? Certainly, I wouldn't let him hold my Labrador's lead. That's for sure. I'd lose him. But I'm looking forward to hearing what we're going to say today, this afternoon, over the course of the next few days as we chew the Ipswich Town fat. I do want to keep it in perspective, of course. We are still sitting very pretty in second position. Things are great. October, if you take the game away and just look at the point situation, has been pretty A-okay, as we said on Friday. So I do want to try and have a really constructive, dare I say, grown-up conversation on the football club. And I'm going to do an old trick I was taught once where if you take a brick out, if you take somebody and say, look, he didn't play well for this, that, the other, I want you to put a brick back into the wall. So give me one player that didn't play well, then please do give me one player that did play well, and vice versa. If you say this player played really well, tell me one player that perhaps didn't play as well as they possibly should. Let's really have a conversation on what was a game of football that ended in I've seen it all over BBC media, other medias, where it's what a game, don't leave late, etc. But at the point of the full-time show last night, I was feeling sick as a dog. I still am feeling sick as a dog. It still pisses me off tremendously as I sit here. But we are still second. Let's get some comments as we kick it off. Mo wants to say, for fuck's sake, I feel that. Adrian, still hurting, got to get put behind us and move on, as we have done 2 points per game and will be up there. I really, really, really admire positive outlook people, because I'm not a positive outlook person. Like, everything's negative. And all I think of when I see comments like that are, we were once told the time to Paul Lambert. I'm not saying they're the same, but people would have told me it all good back then as well. Darren, doesn't matter if you look in a newspaper or on social media, we can certainly say we are the talking point of the weekend. As I just said, yeah, absolutely. Shambles of a defence, two of a confident thought. McKenna would be fuming. Roy Clark, afternoon. Good afternoon, Anne. Nick's in the room. Carl Brooks, I'd have taken a point before kickoff. However, the manner of the defeat doesn't sit well with me. Learn from it and move on quickly, which is quite interesting, actually. It's something we should probably address this afternoon. Learn from it. I'm afraid to say, Carl, we're not learning from these mistakes. We've twice in this week alone surrendered a 2-goal lead. Even if you don't count Wednesday, we're not appearing to learn from it. That's a conversation point. What's the situation there? Chandler agrees with Colin. Party on the beach at Fleetwood. Yeah. And still the 4-4 draw at Derby when we're 4-1 up at half-time, but we've been hammered at full-time. Oh, yes, the Steve McLaren dressing room game where he turns up. Yeah, I remember that one. Carl Brooks, I think we do need Burgess back in. Who for, though, I'm not sure, but he gives us a balance on the left side. He's aggressive in both boxes. Lots of comments. Keep them flying in. Let's get cracking with... I'll just bring them both in at the same time. We can get straight into a great conversation.
Somebody get the tables. Hard truth are here. Delivering the truth that nobody wants to hear. The Cruncher and the Media Mogul.
Afternoon, fellas. How are we?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I think I just said worrying, which 87 says worrying. We're second in the league. But I'm sure he would have told me, she would have told me, they would have told me under Lambert, Matt, you're second in the league, you're top of the league. Don't worry about it. Like, I'm not saying they're the two teams, but you've got to learn from mistakes, haven't you? We're not doing that at 2-0 up.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, I went back and watched our little bit of our Sheffield Wednesday show a month or so ago. However long that ago was, 4 or 5 weeks. And we did say, didn't we? Was there a little crack there when we went 2 up and we blew it there? And lo and behold, we've done it 4 times now, haven't we? Because we did it twice in one game, and also at Port Vale. I mean, we got away with it, didn't we, Rich, at Port Vale on Tuesday? Look, I was as low as a snake's belly yesterday. I'm over it today. Look, 20 years ago, it would have ruined my week. but time moves on, doesn't it? Rich, you were there. I think it's easy for us to say that we was watching at home. We didn't actually put in the hours to go and was part of that crowd and the jubilance of 4-2 to suddenly see 4 at the Valley. But
it's one of those guys where I haven't celebrated 2 goals harder than that for years. You are literally up here, Matt. You're on the ceiling, you're flying, you're hugging people you don't know. Later, nobody's talking to each other, nobody will look at each other, and you're all just standing there thinking, what exactly happened there? Because even now, we're still sitting here, nearly 20 hours removed, Martin, from that? Still trying to sort of work out where it went wrong and what went wrong, and we can blame X player, this happened, that happened, but it's a collective, isn't it, really? We win as a team, we lose as a team, we draw as a team. So
yeah. I agree with that. I agree. In one of those games where they come around every so often. It's not the first 4-4 with Charlton, for crying out loud. Certain games people were at many moons ago.
Yeah,
but it's the manner of how I kind of tweeted out yesterday, Rich. We've played 2 games there, and we've taken 2 goal leads in both, and still walked away with what feels like a defeat in both. Port Vale Tuesday night. You've had a 2-goal lead, and you're very lucky to come away with the 3 points there. Wednesday, of course, like people are telling me, we're going to learn from this. I'd like my lessons to be learned a little bit quicker than what we're doing at the moment.
We haven't learned since we said it before, and I was on Wednesday when Alex disagreed, didn't he, about changing defence? And I said to you and Alex then, we haven't defended well since Sheffield Wednesday, Martin. How many games ago was that? And that was the first game when Cameron Burgess was out injured, wasn't it, after Bristol Rovers? So he's probably going to be feature a lot in this afternoon's conversation about changing it, who comes in, who goes out. I think individually we've got some good defenders, right? But there's something missing there. And I was talking to Carl on the way home, Carl Brooks, and we said it before, we ain't aggressive enough. Them goals yesterday, I was listening this morning from the post-match show on Radio Suffolk, Matt and Martin. The 4 goals they scored, combined yards were about 15 yards, right? So there you go. There's your problem. They're all in that 6-yard box. You look at Christian Walton, Martin, made an error on the second goal. Fair enough. He's been outstanding all season and sort of since he's come to the club. The third goal for me is the one where it's literally... all it is a free kick lumped to the far post. Simple, basic defending at any level of football. Whether you're professional or you're playing on a Sunday morning, you have to defend that 6-yard box. And we didn't, and we've given them a goal, and we're all sitting there, and you're probably watching at home thinking, consolation goal. That's what we thought at the time.
That's what I thought they would kick off. Referee would blow his whistle. 3 points in the match.
When Big Fred scored, I don't think I've celebrated a goal like it from the I Follow City. Like I was in this room and I was on my own in the house, and I suggested on yesterday's show, Matt, I must apologise to the neighbours because the language was blue. It was a huge goal. This is a season-defining moment. We've come back. We've done it. This is absolutely euphoric. Big Fred's got himself a goal off the bench. I mean, these things just don't seem to happen. And for a moment in time, it was all good in the world, and then it sort of crashed in around our ears again.
I think what it was actually, it was 2 games in one, wasn't it? The real game was 2-2, and in suddenly the Ladapo moment triggered this kind of FIFA 23 console game of going back and forth. I mean, it was just mental. I mean, you get into these moments in football sometimes, don't you? That has no bearing on the game you've just seen. I always went back to United beating Bayern Munich in the Champions League in the Nou Camp. Very un-German defending. They lose 2-1 within about 90 seconds of lifting the trophy. But so I feel like it was 2. I feel like it was 2 games in one, really. But yeah, I mean, look, anyone has question marks over Ladapo. What a finish that was, and it was worthy of winning the game, wasn't it? I mean, what a turn, what a shot, right in front of the Town fans. I mean, you couldn't make it up. But you said earlier, Martin, that we thought like we couldn't get the job done. Well, the job was done. That's the issue, I think, because you've got the bench has cleared. It's gone down to the Jimmy Seed stand, a stand I've been in a couple of times myself. And everyone's celebrating. You've got Wolfenden on top of the bloody ad boards. That tells me that they think the job was done. And of course, Charlton fans thought the job was done because they left, didn't they? As Rich said, within a minute, leaping back into the stadium. So, and McKenna touched on this, Rich, in the interview, didn't he? Composure. We lost composure. And Morsey lost composure for me.
It was the emotion, Martin and Matt. It was the scenes in that away end were literally, it was absolute carnage, right? But the players have to they play the game. The fans don't play the game. They have to get their heads on as soon as they kick off. And I think one mistake we made, right, is the substitution after we scored the fourth goal of Richard Keogh. I'm not saying he shouldn't have come on. I wouldn't have brought him on at that moment. I would have waited for the next break. Look, that's a small margin. Maybe I'm being a bit overemphasising that. But I think he's brought him on then, and we haven't touched the ball. We didn't touch the ball until we kick off again after 4-3. They've got the ball, passed it about, they've won that free kick, and then they've scored. Now, look, football is a game of massively small margins. It is. But 99 times out of 100, you win that game when you are 2 goals clear in injury time. And I see people moaning about, what is it with our fans, moaning about referees all the time? Listen, 6 minutes is I listened to Phil Blundell this morning, Martin. He's talking absolute bollocks because it's 6 minutes minimum, right?
Remember then the stat line?
It's a minute every celebration. I spoke to Wes Burns after the game. They had no problem. They celebrated long and hard for them 2 goals. So that's at least a minute for them. 30 seconds with Keogh. Charlton scored another goal in between. So there you go. But I don't care if you add on another 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Do your jobs.
No. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Obviously, Phil's not here, and it's obviously, the opinion, not the person. But I'm with you, and in the sense of I had no problem with it. Even yesterday's full-time show, and I'm sick as a dog in the emotion of the moment. I had no problem with it.
I liked your little line about Richard Keogh. He's not a super sub, is he, Gov?
He's not a super sub, no. He's not a super sub.
They tried that at Sheffield Wednesday, didn't they? Didn't work then either.
Look, people can give me stats, Matt, about every single thing to do with football. Give me a stat on how many times a substitution that is a defender coming on to a team that's winning, unforced sub in the sense of no player going off injured. How often does that team walk away with the 3 points they're holding on to? Because I've seen it so many times at Portman Road where we've done it. And the team always seems to have that mentality of defend. Oh, no, it's 2-2 or whatever. Give me that stat. Fuck the expected goal stats. I don't care about them. Give me the important ones, Matt, about is this a mentality in football that actually is a bit archaic and doesn't actually pay off?
No, I think you're probably right because your mindset's changed, isn't it? Because what in the mini game of 10 minutes, what got us on to the front foot, of course, was getting forward. And if suddenly your mindset's changed, protect what we've got, then you become nervous, don't you?
Yeah,
I would probably have said Morsey was possibly one of my man of the matches going into the injury time. But a fair play to him for fronting up at the end of that because he must have been. Look how gutted we were. He's done the 99 minutes and scored in it and thought he's won us the game, and he's fronted up to the cameras. But you can see, like for the third goal, I think he gave the free kick away, and then for the fourth one, I think he loses the ball in their box when he could have just given it to Ladapo and gone down to the corner flag. I mean, you always get told to go to the corners, don't you? Kill the time. But we went
straight to Jonas Knudsen at Carrot Road, my boys.
Well, this is what I was trying to juggle yesterday. Was the Carrow Road Bart moment worse than this? I mean,
you look at the goal right there. This is the 99th minute, right?
It is.
So when the ball, Sam Morsey, look, he's an experienced player. He won't need telling. He'll know that probably he should have. Look, everyone makes mistakes, but when you lose that ball, then that's the first thing that's gone wrong. But then the ball gets cleared, and I think it's Leif Davis heads it back, guys. And then the guy who played right back with the dreads, can't remember his name for Charlton, he heads it forward, right? So Chuck Sanike is what, 15 yards, guys? Is he inside his own half?
I think so, from the still.
He's back to goal.
Yeah.
Dominic Ball cannot let him turn there. He cannot let him turn. Take a foul. I know he's on a yellow. If he has to take another yellow and a red, a one-game ban, fair, do that. But literally, Morsey's gone forward. Dom Ball is there. That fucking space in between, he gets away from him, and then he's off. Now, I thought he changed the game, Matt, when he came on. He's a bit of a super sub. He can't stay fit, but he can play like 25 minutes. And I thought he done really well.
Yeah.
He's a physical presence. It's a catalogue of errors. Carl was saying this morning, I do agree with him. why don't you sometimes put an extra defender on mine? Why don't we just put another midfielder on in there to block that space up? But I don't know why we're trying to go forward and to score a fifth goal. I don't know.
It must be.
But I've got a thing that I think would have happened. It might not have done. People might think I'm absolutely balmy. I'll tell you what. If we'd have been 3-2 up, guys, we wouldn't have drawn that game.
Maybe not. Maybe at 4-2, you think it's nice and easy.
We got lax, didn't we? We lost concentration, which we do on more than one occasion, don't we? But then if you fast forward, Martin, when Nico's got through, the ball gets, it goes out to Fraser and then he plays it out to the guy on the right-hand side. And there's no one near him trying to stop the cross. No one near him. And then he gets to run. The guy, it's a great header by, was it Dobson who scored?
It is, but instead of 6-yard header that's lobbed me goalkeeper, I'm not quite sure.
But Walton's, he's sort of come and then he can't get his feet adjusted. And then it's over him and...
It's the Bart walkabout moment. Listen, like he's not quite gone walkabout, but he's been lobbed by a 6-yard header. It's up there with which one's worse.
He really did have a bad day yesterday. I mean, he started, didn't it, with like the first minute when he sort of passed straight to Stockley, was it?
Yeah, yes, he did. It was a wobbly game all over from him. But yeah, so for the stat heads, get me that stat. That's what I want to see the stat based on, because it as Glenn says, the concept is outdated, but it must be something in a managerial handbook they're all given. That's like chapter 1: when winning, put on a defender, because every single manager does it, and it's like, do they actually have any data on that?
Should be. Listen, we can say what we want, but come on, we're 2 goals up with 3 minutes to go.
For sure. You're just inviting pressure, aren't you? You're inviting the pressure, the wave of pressure. You know, it
was terrible.
It's one of those things.
Terrible game management, wasn't it? I mean, I don't expect to see benches clearing to celebrate in October when it's still 29 games to go. Maybe when we've just got promoted.
Come on, Matt. If it's our bench cleared when we scored 2 goals, they went absolutely ballistic jumping on McKenna. If we'd have been at Portman Road, Gov wouldn't have been in there because he'd have been setting up if we'd have 4-2 down.
4-2, I'd have been out. Yeah, 2-goal lead.
There was literally 20% of their fans left in the ground. 80% had just left. Game over. See you later. I won't go down the pub.
BBC Match of the Day on Facebook had a. I bet that they're glad they stayed late, the home fans, and then someone replied saying, "Yeah, all 2 of them did." So because it was the 2 pitch people in the photo, it was quite good.
Don't you think now that game yesterday, you had a combined total of 15 minutes of added time. The game in the week had 13 minutes of added time. You're playing nearly 105 minutes these games now, guys.
Yeah,
you are.
Do you think just before you move on? Do you think there will ever become a time where in rugby the clock is out of the referee's hands?
Rugby,
the clock is out of his hands, isn't it? In rugby league, they have the hooter.
Oh. Yes,
in rugby union, they have obviously
like in the NFL as well.
80 minutes is up. The next time the ball goes into touch, and you see it, they get it and they kick out. Do you think there'll ever become a time where, because we always argue about added time on, why was there so long? If you take it out of the referee's hands and there's someone else,
it's a good point, because you never actually see it the same. It's not consistent across all of football, is it? Like I watched some Bundesliga last night. There was a huge melee at the end in injury time, right? Took 2-3 minutes to clear it. They started the game again. The game was finished. So he didn't have time on. You know what I mean?
I think a lot of it, Matt, is how the clock is stopped. You know, like in NFL, for example, the moment the play is over, the clock, if it's a throw that's been incomplete, is stopped. Like last night, for example, those goal celebration, people are not taking into account the celebration because the clock is still ticking on your screen or in the stadium. When actually, in reality, it's stopped. So if you scored at 93. It stopped at 93. It's not 95 plus 50 seconds when it restarts that 10 seconds left of the game, because that's not how it works. But you don't see that. You see the clock ticking away. And you naturally
my own personal take is it should have finished on the 3rd goal.
No.
We kick off and it's over.
It's not. You watch it back and see how long we celebrate the 3rd.
Not 3 minutes, 45 seconds worth. I'm not having that.
And it's minimum time allowed. You always play to the whistle.
So where's he found the 45
and another Charlton goal? There's your 3 minutes. We
can't
blame. This is what I'm saying about the clock taking out the referee's hands. But we've only got ourselves. We shot ourselves in the foot, and we continue to fucking do it, don't we?
That is where the frustration comes in, because you've shot yourself in the foot not once but twice in the same 90.
Yes.
Tuesday, Wednesday, and 7 points out of 9 is a fantastic stat line to take away, and I love that. But equally, you are making the Lincoln point catch up, because you've lost at home to Lincoln, which you shouldn't have done, and you need to make those 3 points up somewhere else, and you will do. I'm absolutely sure of it through the summer, through the season. But player-wise, lots of chat. We're going to open up the link in a second, as we always do. Loving the comments coming in the live chats. Please do keep them coming. Norman says, "Is it time McKenna adds the Fishman to our coaching team?" I'm not going to ask you that question. But defensively, you mentioned Burgess. I often said, I've said all through the summer, this is the back four that starts the season will not be the back four that finishes the season. Are we missing him? And if we're missing him, where does he come back in? Is it just a simple issue of that man in the middle? Because I remember at Oxford, where he's not attacked the ball particularly well. It's a bit like the champion.
Corner, didn't he?
Yeah, it's a bit like the championship, where people keep telling me, we need to get out of this league for better referees. Well, I've seen about 5 tweets this morning from championship fans saying referee yesterday was terrible. I think that's a fallacy. That's not going to happen. Referees are dire, whatever league you're in. I also think Burgess isn't going to solve all the issues you think you have in terms of how to defend the ball in the box. You must have ways. Matt, over to you.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, how do you address this? I'm not sure. Which is why we're sitting on here and we're not in the coaching staff of Kieran McKenna. But the thing is, right, you can practice and on the training ground defending. But like, as Rich says, once you get into that stadium and it becomes a furnace, and you've got the home fans belting back into the stadium and you're under intense pressure, you can't replicate that on the training ground. You just can't. So whether or not that comes down to mindset, better communication, drilling, I don't know. I don't know how we can replicate it. But I mean, it's silly concern because we've done it 4 times. And we're not even in November yet.
You touched on, what did Leicester do, Matt?
The set piece coach. Maybe.
The main goals that we can see, we're vulnerable to crosses in the box, aren't we, Mike?
Yeah, absolutely, massively.
So what is that? Is that wingers not protecting fullbacks? Is that fullbacks not doing enough to stop the cross? Is that centre half not being aggressive enough? Is that a symptom of all 3? Because,
look at
how do you stop that? How do you solve that?
Did you think the first goal was a foul on Edmondson? Did I hear you say when Manike?
Oh, yes, the first one. Yes, I do. Yeah.
Good job.
Maybe, possibly. Thought he was a bit strong for him. Possibly, he was just too strong for our centre half when he came.
Ironside again, wasn't it?
It was a little bit, Fridge. Yeah. He did sort of pull him down a little bit, and he was off, and that was a cross. Second goals, well, it's Walton throwing his cap on that one, Matt, wasn't it, all day long? That was.
Yeah, that's very un-Walton-like, wasn't it?
Third goal's a free kick to the far post, and the third goal's the equaliser. Ball into the far post.
As we said on the phone last night, Rich, the 4th goal was exactly the same as the first one at Hillsborough. Ball to the back stick.
Yeah, and I see Callie, and I don't disagree with him there about Leif Davis. That is probably his weak suit. You've had Greg Lee. I spoke to him after the game. He said he's about 3 weeks away. Now, he's good in the air. Greg Lee is very good in the air. So, if he was there, look, it's if, buts and maybes. Like you say, Martin, shoulda, woulda, coulda. But Burgess comes in, right? He plays on that left-hand side. Now, who does everybody think goes out the team? Is it Edmondson goes out? Is it Donasian goes out and we all move over? But then if you take JD out, we've been playing basically a back 4. So who's your right back? Because you're not playing George Edmondson right back, are you? Or Wolfenden? No,
you're not. That's a bit harsh on Genoy. I mean, let's not lose sight of the big picture here. This is just one of 46 games. We asked that defence in various guises has got us to second in the table on about a 2.25 point per game average. I mean,
yeah.
And it could be, and what does Colin said to me? It was ifs and cans, pots and pans, his dad used to say. I like that little line. We could have even been on 41 points, but we're not. But I mean, look, let's not, throw the baby out with the bathwater. We're in a great position still. Just in isolation, is a kick in the bollocks. But we're still second. We're still well ahead of, even if we've had a bit of a mini meltdown. Look how far ahead of 6th we are.
Yeah, but I don't want the playoffs, Matt. That's not what the club with the biggest budget in League One of the biggest budget should be aiming for. That's we're clear of 7th. And I
Yeah, I
look at the
know, 'cause
goals, the first
we
goal
want
particularly.
Yeah, we want automatic. I do agree with that. But I just look at the bigger picture slightly. This is what I've been, which is why I'm not so down about it today, particularly.
Of course. And you should do, absolutely. But of course, you've got to be wary. We've been in the position before. And again, I'm not linking the two teams, but you have to correct the failures to achieve excellency. And that's what McKenna and Co will be doing at Portman Road this morning, tomorrow. They won't be saying, oh, we've had a great season so far, let's not worry about it, because these will eventually potentially be your undoing. The first goal, Rich, the trailing arm is what I call a foul. I think he's just shrugged him down a little bit. But past that, Janoid Ash is being dragged into the centre. Wes Burns isn't getting back quick enough. It's not a 4-man problem, is what I'm trying to say. This is a team issue. We do not defend well as a team with our shape and partnerships. Is that rotation, though, where you're struggling to really... I mean, Janoy and Burns, obviously, perhaps not, but other areas of the time, you're struggling to build the partnership. Second half.
Not defensively, because he normally keeps that sort of back line sort of the same, doesn't he? I think JD's probably the only one who's played in every game. Oh, no, apart from Christian Wildness, hasn't he? He came off a couple of times. But...
So second half, you had a number of issues where Leif Davis played the ball forward to Carl Edwards too far. Put the ball far too in front of him. That could be a simple partnership issue. Have I played enough times with Carl Edwards to understand how fast he truly is?
I just thought Leif Davis, I thought he played well first half. Danny Haynes was saying he was our best player. And he had a real dodgy, ropey sort of, but so did the team, Martin. I think so did the team. We had a dodgy 15-minute spell there. After they'd equalised, we got in some good positions and they would, I don't know, he's just overcooked it twice. But then you can look at all things. Kyle Edwards had a great chance. He's slashed over the bar.
True.
The biggest thing for me yesterday, the massive turning point, is literally after they've got back to 2-1, the miss from John Jules. He scores that header, we go on and we win that game. 100%. He could have had a hat-trick. He could have took the match ball home yesterday.
Yeah.
He had that one in the first half where I think they were calling for a penalty. But you've got any striker, Matt and Martin, worth your salt. You're 5 yards out. You are in the centre of the goal.
Yeah.
It's a goal long. And I think then that would have knocked them back because they've got that lift, obviously, with getting back to 2. And I'll tell you what, give them a bit of a lift when Garner was sent off because he sort of whipped the crowd up a little bit. And they really got behind them down the other end. They had the drum. So you've given that and then they've got that goal. But, if you score that goal then and it goes 3-1, I really think it's game, set and match. But it's another one then, Martin. Ifs. Buts, maybe.
Buts and maybes.
Yeah.
I thought that was embarrassing from Ghana. That's sort of Sunday League. Along with that bloody Tannoy announcement they did.
That was great.
That was great.
Bloody hell, you're not in the issue.
I like that. I thought that was great.
I thought that
was great. Straight, short, sharp, to the point. Get on with it. Come on. I mean, who's brought a whistle to the game of football in the first place? I mean,
you remember the Northland whistle, Matt, back in the day?
Yeah.
I used to blow it.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at the goals again. 3 of the 4 goals have come from our right-hand side. But that's not me criticising one particular player or one particular area. That's just the fact of the game. 3 of the 4 have come from the right-hand side of the pitch.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, we've spoken about Janoy before, haven't we? I mean, look, no one is. Well, McKenna's rotation policy proves that no one is really, watertight to that position. But Janoy seems to keep that all the time. I would actually like to see Edmondson go that side because he's naturally right-footed, and we have seen him on overlaps previously. I think it was the Lincoln game. I said, well, with Dave, was it Davis? Didn't keep using him, so he can get down there. I'm not really a fan of Janoy getting the ball into the box anyway. He's the last person you want crossing the ball into the box. You want a Burns or a wide player or an Edwards or somebody. Janoy is a centre half turns. I wouldn't say not wing back particularly, but I mean, he gets into attacking positions, but I don't think he crosses the ball well enough. Now, whether or not Edmondson could, I don't know.
Maybe a back 3.
I wouldn't want to see Edmondson playing on that right.
For what reason?
Back.
If you could do it on the left, you could do it on the right, can't you? And if he's naturally right-footed. But look, we're going to have to try some options. Look, Keogh's right-footed. He ain't going to be busting it down the line, is he?
You could go to a back 3 very easily.
Well, it is a 3, though, is it not?
Well, it's a 4. It's more of a 4, let's be honest. It's more
in and out of possession, it changes, doesn't it? But I think it actually starts as a 3. I would say it's a 3.
See, I would say it's a 4. I'd say we're playing more and more 4-2-3-1 type of a shape, maybe with the two 10s instead of a traditional flat 3. But I've not felt it's a 3 in a long while, to be honest. But that could be, as you say, it's hybrid. It's in possession, out of possession.
Yeah.
Leif Davis has allowed that sort of free bomb on role.
Yes.
But I just don't. It's hard because we're great league position. As I said yesterday, his tweet, it's great league position long term, play some sexy football. But we have got these Achilles heels, which are just going to sort of, yesterday was a great opportunity to go top of the table, put pressure on Plymouth, extend or keep the lead over Wednesday, which they surrendered midweek at home to Bristol Rovers, which they would have thought they shouldn't have done in the first place. And it's not a 3-2, 3-3 draw. It's not a 2-2. They've scored, then we've equalised. You're 2-0 up effectively twice.
You've only played for times, haven't you? And Plymouth got a hard game tomorrow, remember? I think it's on Sky. It's Exeter, isn't it? Derby, mate.
Yeah, but teams that want to get promoted go and control those sort of games.
Let's see how they do tomorrow. I'm going to watch the game tomorrow. It'll be interesting to see how they cope in that. That'll be a bit of a furnace down there, won't it?
Yeah. It's tricky, isn't it? But tell me a player that played well. As I open it up to the guys and girls, live link incoming. Don't forget, come and talk it out. Bistanner, hit the join button or kofi. Give me a player that played well, each of you, as I open it up to the viewers, to the fans of ITFC. Rich, one player that played well for you, my friend.
Well, it's a hard one, isn't it? Because I don't think anyone really gets more than a 7.
Ladapo. What a goal.
It was
man.
It was a strange game. If you look at the game overall, it wasn't that. The first half was dull as ditchwater, guys.
It wasn't a great half, was it? No.
Two teams who were playing really, really slow. Yeah. And a lot of stat padding, as you call it, passing and in safe areas. And then obviously we got the goal. And then we did step it up second half. Someone who played well, I'd probably say Dominic Ball might have had a better game than he had against Port Vale. He got forward on a couple of occasions, didn't he? He won the free kick, which I don't think it wasn't a free kick for our second goal that leads to obviously the free kick. And the second goal that we scored, if you watch it back, John Jules is offside. So we can all moan about hard done by this, hard done by that. We have to look at it the other way when we get a decision go for us. You can't have it one way and not have it the other. So, but I think Don Ball, he showed yesterday that he's a good player, but he did get caught a couple of times. It's like, look, he did get caught, But it was a hard one to name your man in the match because.
But then he played a nice 1-2 with Morsey for Morsey's goal, didn't he?
Yeah.
Helped that up. So I mean, look, it swings and roundabouts.
How you stop conceding set pieces? Stop giving away needless, mindless fouls around the 18-yard box.
Well, but the third goal isn't round the 18-yard box. It's out on the right hand side, and it's just it's a big long ball to the far post. And
still a needless foul.
They're not scoring from there, were they?
Still a needless foul, isn't it? Yeah, I'm with Matt.
There's a needless foul around there.
You're one player, please. I've got people waiting. They're eager.
I just seen this username here, Westminster Wanderers. Is that
good, isn't it? I like it. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. It's like Boris Johnson tweeting us.
Yeah. Look, I thought Davis was good first half yesterday. There was a lovely pattern of play where down the left-hand side, he put the ball in the box and Jackson dummied it and Chaplin had a shot blocked. That was a lovely spell of play. Again, we talk about getting the ball into the box for opportunities. We spoke about that Friday, didn't we? I would say Ladapo, same as you, Martin, just for the fact that he comes on in that furnace where it's all going a bit pear-shaped. It's absolute worldie, which is why he's been signed. People are very quick to write people off. People are writing people off after yesterday's game, but that was worthy of a match winner. That shows to me someone who's got his form back off the back of the Port Vale game. Now that begs the question: why didn't he start yesterday? He got 2 against Port Vale, and he suddenly sticks on Jules.
Don't, man. Don't. This rotation policy, it's when you win, you can't criticize it. But when you lose, trust me, I'm going to start complaining about it because
we didn't lose.
Big Fred. Well, all right. It feels like I keep saying that.
I know we're down.
But I keep saying that. I speak to somebody, I can't believe we got beat yesterday because it generally, obviously, feels to me that we got beat. Because I don't even think of it as a point. But you're right. We didn't get beat. I've got to remember that. Yeah. But he scored 2 goals midweek. He's come on. He's not really had any other chance than the one he's scored. Kyle Edwards has had a great couple of weeks. He's, unlucky to find himself out of the team. This rotation policy, they tell me, is modern football. It might well be, But I'm used to your best versus their best, and can they stop you? You know, like you don't see Man City dropping De Bruyne because they need a workman-like midfield against Liverpool. They go, can you stop De Bruyne? Or Haaland's not quite quick enough versus Van Dijk. So we'll play whoever they've got. Like best versus best. But I'm old.
I agree with that. No, I agree. I personally agree with that. Yeah, I mean, Ladapo was in form. His confidence was sky high. He scores 2 goals. He's benched. He comes on, scores a worldie. So look, but hindsight. Look, John Jules had scored that goal, Rich. You're talking about. Well, he did score a goal, and then he could have had the second one. You were talking about the header in the box. We'd all be sitting there going, John Jules, brilliant. Sign him up. Don't send him back to Arsenal. So
go back to Ladapo, the goal he scored, guys. If you're at Portman Road on a match day and you watch them when they're doing the warm up, the shooting drill, that's down the north stand then.
Yeah.
That's exactly one of them goals where they have like someone's being a defender, but he's not gonna touch him, and he just spins. And I said before on here, that's when we see the best of Freddie. The goal against Portsmouth, instinctive, bang. The goal yesterday, touch, bang. When he has to think about it sometimes, I don't think he's at his best. It's them instinctive finishes, and that yesterday, it was a great finish. And it's not even in the corner, Gov, but it's the pace, it's the turn and the pace of the shot that beats the goalkeeper. As soon as he hits it, it's in. The funny thing yesterday, Ollie next to me, right, he gets played into Ladapo, takes a touch. Ollie just quickly says, he's not scoring from there. Yes! And then we're off. It was a great one. And we thought that was it, didn't we? We all thought that.
I did.
Yeah.
If there was a camera in here at the time, you'd have seen.
Big 3 points and a massive sort of moment in the season, Martin. I know it's only game 17, but if we'd have been going away from the Valley with the 3 points, but we didn't.
Yeah, we did.
It's a shame there's no game. It's a shame there's no game Tuesday, really, because now we've got to sit on this for a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like a box who's been knocked out. You've got to sit on it for a while until you can get back out there. And you know, we should go and breeze past Bracknell, shouldn't we? But it's not until we play Cheltenham now, is it? Is the next league game? Well, that's still a long way away, that, isn't it? So, but maybe it's good to sit on these things in the training ground, show a bit of hunger to address it.
They'll obviously be in the classroom tomorrow morning, won't they? Master McKenna will be there, dishing out lines.
Yeah, is he bloody well should do as well? You know, lines, the tension, turn around, face the wall, all that sort of stuff. I
will not let my emotions get the better of me.
Pull your shorts down. I'm going to cane your ass.
You naughty boy. But no, I know I'm old. I know I'm not a great stat lover, so rotation probably is the modern thing. But
did you get lines? Did you get lines in class? The only time I ever did was when you were told not to suck your pen in science. So I will not suck my pen in science. About 500 times I had to write out.
I didn't
do class. Tore it up.
It's funny you should mention the boxing though, Matt, because I did think in that first half we were like a boxer that was very much just controlling the ring. We were in control of the game. It was going how we wanted it to go. We would go forward, in terms of gears when we wanted to. They never had many opportunities, if any, from memory serves correctly. And then obviously second half we decided, right, now we're going to take the punches to them.
You do see,
and then got punch drunk.
Yeah, you do see the shifting of the gears. Yeah, it felt like Richard's right. It felt slow in the first half. Then in the second half, we started cranking it up a bit. And that does, I've been critical of Morsey. I'm not very rarely critical of Morsey because I think he's fantastic. But I think the shifting of gears comes from Morsey. He starts getting on the ball a little bit more. We're talking about him, starting getting movement, getting people playing into the game, getting stuck in himself. You see that. I think that comes from him. But that's why I was so disappointed that, he played such a huge part in the draw yesterday. But
yeah, I just felt we were in control. We were the dominant side.
Yeah,
nothing was really going down unless we allowed it. Charlton was struggling to get themselves in the game, but I know you disagree, Mike, because you want 5-star Man City on a League One budget. But you're far away, my man. Your turn.
I don't know what game you were watching. I really don't. Probably listening, I would have thought.
Oh, I'm good.
How are you boys anyway? All right.
Yeah. No, not really. No, not really. No. 4-4, 8 goals. No.
Shocking display of defending from our midfielders and defenders yesterday.
Which ones in particular, Mike? And then give me some players that played well.
I look, all of them. All of them, from a goalie, back 3, 4, however you want to put it, to our midfield players. Ball was shocking against Vale. Both goals his fault, failing to clear the ball with his head.
This ain't Vale, Mike. This is Charlton.
Oh, hang on. And then yesterday, I didn't think he was particularly brilliant. I didn't think he was particularly good either. I didn't think he was. I thought he was average. I didn't think he had the greatest of games. First half he looked all right, but for me, we got defensive midfielders in Morsey and in Ball, and yesterday they showed how not to do it. We got professional players. They weren't very professional yesterday when they conceded them goals, did they? Look. Let's not get too down because we're second in the league, and I know that I felt for the fans yesterday on that ground because I watching it on iFollow. I could, the crowd, the camera went on the crowd and the Ipswich fans went mad on that fourth goal. And then to concede 2 goals right at the end. And I agree with Rich, pick up, moan at the referee. There was no fouls for goals. There was an offside, I would say, for our second. The end of the day, you got to defend them. And, while Fridge scored yesterday, I think he's our biggest liability as a defender, if I'm honest.
Wow.
I'm sorry, but look, it's opinion. We're allowed opinion, aren't we? Like I'm always being told, attack the opinion, not the person. For me, Fridge.
How come, Mike? How come you think Edmondson? Just a bit more detail on that.
Because look how many goals we've conceded since he's been in the team and Burgess has been out. Do you know what I mean? That says everything you need to know, really. Burgess is £1 million player. We paid over $1 million for him, didn't we?
Even though 3 goals come from the right hand side yesterday, and Fridge plays on the left.
Yeah, but you can't watch what you're trying to say. All Danassian's fault, is it?
Oh, no. Don't put words in my mouth.
Right. So, in fairness, then, where was the balls? Where did they start from? Because they started from the midfield when midfielders were trying to. What was Morsey? Look, I love Morsey. He had a good game, but his professionalism let him down yesterday. Why didn't he run that into the corner?
Oh, 100%, Mike.
Oh, yeah.
Why did he run into the corner? Waste time.
If he had that, I think another 10 times, I think he would not make that mistake again. I don't see why, Mike, that he was going for a 5th goal when you're in the last minute. And then he gets himself. It's a good tackle. If you look at the Charlton lad who tackles him, it's a good tackle, but he's out of the game. And then ball's too far forward, and then they're both out of the game when he gets turned. And that's where it all started.
What I would say is just freeze framing this last goal. Not a single Ipswich Town player is marking a player goal side. They're marking grass, but the last time I checked, grass can't score goals. And you've got runners in between defenders, and that shouldn't happen when you brought Richard Keogh on, Mike. But you mentioned Edmondson. So let's have a player that you felt has performed well, either Tuesday, as you mentioned Tuesday, or Saturday, or both, or for October. Let's put a brick back in that wall. Who's performed well for you?
Okay, so Ladapo, what credit? He's taken his chances.
Let me get my phone from Tuesday morning. A message from the fisherman.
There's a tweet on Saturday afternoon.
Not playing Ladapo.
Sorry?
And you weren't playing Ladapo Tuesday night, were you?
No, I wasn't. No. Why? Why was that?
Because you were playing Chaplin. There's your striker.
Yeah, I was. And why was that?
Mike. So what about Ladapo?
What was that? What was that?
What about Ladapo?
Ladapo's come into the game and he's changed it. Okay, he's changed his attitude. It looks like he's changed his attitude because against Vale, banging them 2 goals in was, and why he didn't start yesterday. I don't subscribe to this. Oh, it's modern footballer. Because the pitches are different, and the footballers our fitness levels are different. Because the game's faster and they're running on bowling greens. These players of modern day wouldn't last 45 minutes on a pitch of old in the 80s and 70s. Yeah, they'd never be able to kick a leather ball. There'd be every team that had 22-man squad would end up with 21 players injured. They're too soft these days. They're far too soft, and you can see that by the lack of aggression by our. Look, I agree, Richard. We're not aggressive enough.
We're not, are we?
Not aggressive.
We ain't got no one. We ain't got no in it. Look, individually, Mike, I think the defenders are all good. They're all good footballers. Footballers, right? If you play centre half, the first thing you do is you defend. Yeah. You defend, you're aggressive, you attack the ball. And we ain't got no one in there. We've got no one in there who organises, Martin, in that back three. There's no one who organises. Someone like a Jason DeVos, like Colin was telling me this morning, someone like that. That ball comes in the box yesterday. He'd stick his head on it. He'd stick
Seen
his
it,
head on it.
Mowbray, players would have all them players organised.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You know, there was
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
I mean, people say don't like it when people my age and Colin's age and that look back on games. You take the Barnsley game for a start, you know, on the playoff final, you know. There was times when there was times when actually as a fan I thought, Christ, we could lose this. But when you look back and you watch that game over and over again, which I have, you look at the players at the back, McGrill. You look at how as a team we went forward as a team and we came back as a team. What happened yesterday and what's happening a lot recently is we're going forward as a team, but we're not defending our midfield and is not helping our defenders. And if you can't cut out balls in the midfield,
I just got a quick point there, Mike. When you said about the playoff team, right? You go through that team and you go through the team now. What were the majority of the players in that team under Burley? They were all leaders, right?
Yeah.
In this team you got at the minute, you got Sam Morsey.
Yeah.
Who else is a leader on that football pitch?
It's too early to say that.
I'd say Walton because look, let's talk about Walton. He didn't have the greatest games. It started within like 3 or 4 minutes where he blatantly passed to the opposition. They could have scored. He gets a free pass for me. Yes, that shouldn't happen. But he's been outstanding this season, and people that are calling for him to be dropped need their heads wobbled. Because, you know, it's okay for goalie to have one bad game, but it's not okay for...
Who's called for him to be dropped?
Sorry?
Who's saying that?
Who's saying that?
On Twitter. Have you not read on Twitter?
Oh, that's Twitter, for fuck's sake. I mean, if I take Twitter at face value...
Even in the chat here, I was watching, someone said, should we drop Walton? I'm like, why are you even considering that? You shouldn't be dropping Walton. You shouldn't be... You don't drop Morsey. You know... I would say there's an argument for Keogh to come in for Denai Danassian and give him a break. I would say
the flying winger, Richard Keogh. Everyone wants to see that one, don't they?
No, but we play as a 3.
No, I'm joking with you. It's just like for like. Imagine Keogh, like Stephen Ward of 2022.
You know, if you want a leader, as much I know his age is against him, but he is a leader. He's a proven leader, Keogh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Janassian for me looks a bit burnt out, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
He's been one of our most consistent players, and I know that he hasn't been to the standard that he was last season. I get that, yeah, but I do think there's been some rather harsh and sometimes quite nasty comments. I'm guilty of that with Jackson. I get that. I'm not under no illusions. But again, yesterday, what did Jackson offer? Headless chicken on the left, doing nothing. Harness. Oh my day, he came on and he might as well shat in the middle of the green. Because he stunk the place out.
He's been good this season, though, hasn't he? He's been good this season. Harness. He's been good this season.
Yeah, he is. Harness is. He's been good, but yeah.
I love you. I've got to bring a couple more people in though before we round up tonight's show.
Cheers, Mike.
But great points there, Mike, as always. What I would say is looking back at the third goal, as I've just been doing while Mike was giving us his eloquent thoughts as always. We've got 6 town players against 1 striker. And the bloke who gets the ball is the one Charlton player. We've got 6 defenders in the area.
I'm saying it wasn't even a good ball in, mine. It's just literally a lump it to the far post.
But it's Wolfenden's man.
I just don't think you can analyse those final minutes in any kind of like as you would comparable to the rest of the game because it was just like
they're the final.
We did see yesterday what Matt said. The Walton shank. We see a couple of the Walton shanks in the first 20 minutes. He had a wobbly start, didn't he?
He does this away from home. You know, rarely does it at Portman Road. But yeah, I mean, I can't see how. I honestly thought they were going to score, didn't you? When he passed it straight to him.
The thing is, it's those little details which sort of really set sort of managers like Mick McCarthy apart. Because I remember Ben Pringle letting a bloke go at home to Hull. I don't think we ever saw him again, right?
Yeah.
I don't think we ever saw him again because under Mick, you did the little details right.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying you shut the baby out of the bathwater, but 6 defenders in the area, 1 striker. Wolfenden's the man who's supposed to be marking him. He loses him. there's a collective breakdown there, but you've got to start getting the little details right in football matches.
Yeah.
It's the
So then
1%.
have the-
Little
I
1%.
love how
It all led up.
I love how people are calling for Walton to be dropped. Get
I
it
can't
going.
believe that. I mean,
I'm
he's
not
got his free
interested in
pass
this.
and he's used it, but
not seeing
you
it.
know.
By the way, I've
can't-
just looked at the away table. 9
Don't do
played,
that.
20 points, plus 8 goal difference. I mean, look, again, yesterday he's just one of 46 segments in the cake, isn't it? 46 slices. Just didn't taste so good at the end of it. That was the problem.
Exactly, but but the little incremental details. Wednesday goals again. They're the Mick McCarthy 5th-second balls where if you do the 1%, you walk out with 3 points. You know, it's just those 1%ers that are sort of letting us down. The final detail. So the bloke with the drone basically needs to get it higher for more analytical analyst approach, and we can finally get our set pieces under control. Clearly, the drone is not high enough. Whoever's doing it, get it higher, get a broader view. We can move on.
I mean, looking at 2 games back to back, we've scored 7 on the road. 7 on the road. Oh, we've picked up 4 points. Should have been 6. I mean, that's the absolute domination, isn't it? You just like bit us on the arse. That's all.
Could I sound any more like my dad there, where he's talking about Jerome? Get it higher. Like that's gonna make a lot of difference. Get it higher. Get the drone higher. Like that's gonna make a whole lot of difference.
You need a pilot's license for drones. Did you know that? Some kind of like weird, like you can't just rock up. We couldn't just rock up with one a bit above the statue. Need some kind of license for it, apparently.
We're going to bring somebody in now who said it's not JD's fault. It's Wes Burns. JD is suffering because of Burns. Callie, JD is suffering because of Burns.
What?
Yeah.
What's going on?
How you doing? Sorry, I'm on my phone anyway, so hence no camera or whatever.
That's all right.
And I'm on the good old Marcus Evans green sheet, so yeah. No, look, I've had time to think about it because we were pissed off yesterday. I saw Crunch as we were leaving. We were just standing in the stadium. We couldn't do fuck all.
You were fanboying over Ed Sheeran. Let's not pretend. There was too many smiling faces in that picture.
No, but okay, hold on. To be fair, it was absolute jubilation when that 4th goal went in. We're going fucking mental in that stand. I think Sadju was with me, ended up down 3 rows in front of me. Lad next to me ended up down a couple of rows as well. And then all of a sudden, you could hear a pin drop in the stand when they scored their 4th. Yeah, it was just, ultimate high, ultimate low within fucking minutes. And, it's still fresh and all the rest of it. We were a bit lost for words. Shout out Mini Cruncher. He introduced us to his friend Ed at the end of the game.
Some great photo bombing from me and Callie there in the background.
It's brilliant, isn't it?
Can I just say, I was that peed off last night. Like, I messaged Matt to say, I'm so upset at that photo. There's too many grown men smiling after their teams just lost through a game of football. I was.
We didn't lose, but no, mine. But there you go. We didn't lose, and this is the thing about if we now the dust has settled, so to speak. We're almost 24 hours on, and it's like, okay, we haven't lost. It's still 7 points out of 9 over the course of a week or so, right? Still a pretty good return. It's a hell of an improvement on our performance that we had last year at the Valley, right? So there's an improvement there, but it is the manner. And yeah, in terms of the defending and all the rest of it, and I think this is why Morsey tries to try and find a 5th at the end, is because we don't look good defensively. We don't look solid. We do look fragile. We have a bit of a soft underbelly, so to speak. I think someone put some stats up there, you get predicted goals against and all the rest of it. And actually, whilst we haven't conceded a lot, our predicted goals against is actually quite high. We're giving too many teams opportunities. I think if you look at the difference between our left side and our right side when we come to defending, I think whilst Leaf, I liken a bit to Trent in terms of not the quality there. Obviously, he's not Champions League at the moment, but he's very good attacking. But defensively, he's not that good. And defensively, he gets caught out time and time again. And I think that's why yesterday, if we look at Davis as an example, we say he didn't have a great game because each game he has a good game. It's because of his attacking side. His attacking abilities just weren't there today. He's misplacing 10-yard passes right in front of us to Carl Edwards that we could have cut in or whatever. And then in terms of then trying to find the 5th, it's like how many times have we given away 2 goal leads? And then I think if we paid another 10 minutes or 5-10 minutes, we could have lost that game. Because it did only look like one team that were going to score at that side. In terms of the right side, and this is what I mean by Burns, I think Burns is a good player. I think, and I have to kind of remind myself a little bit sometimes as well, like, yes, he was so phenomenal last season that we're trying to expect the Burns from last season. It's just not going to happen. So he does give you a good 6, 7 out of 10 each game, right? It's not like he's, completely poor. But last season, I thought he was good defensively as well. He's not the same this season in terms of on his defending side. And I think that's where it makes it a bit easier to attack us down, the opponent's left or our right-hand side. But again, it's back posting defending. And I'm going to agree with what Fisherman said, which is about, Burgess needs to come back in. I said when I come on here last time, I said, I was unfair on Fridge and I think he's improved. And I do think he's improved. But his strengths, clearing the balls into the box, Cam Burgess was getting them all. Greg Lee was getting them all. Those two players are out of our team and we look vulnerable. When those two players are in the team, like if you imagine yesterday, it's 65 minutes, 70 minutes, Greg Lee comes on for Leif Davis, right? Burgess is already in there as well. Then you might bring on Keogh. I think that's what we're missing. Get those guys back, and then I think other players in the team won't be forced to try and have to look for that extra goal. It will be a case of, we can keep possession. We can just ping it around. The Walton thing, he had a bad game, but come on, man. He's saved us so many points over the season. He's allowed that, right? Yeah. And actually, last season at the Valley, he made sure we didn't get dick 6-7-0, right? So, let's not have short memories on that.
True.
It is a point. We are all hurting, a bit fuming. I think just getting out of London, me and Sadge in the car we didn't say nothing for about a good 40 minutes. We were just shocked, right? It was one of those. But no, we're a point. We didn't lose, right? And again, the Sheffield game as well. We didn't lose to Sheffield when we was over there. You look at it with how you guys say Harry hindsight or whatever, right? You look at it and it's like, okay, before the game, before we had Derby, would people have said from the next 3 games, would you have been happy with a 7-point return? I think most people would have said yeah. And that's where we're at. Yes, it's annoying that we didn't go top because Plymouth didn't play and Sheffield obviously won, but Sheffield dropped points in the week, so they're no closer than they was before Tuesday, kickoff or whatever. So I just think we just need to have a bit of just a bit of calm about us. I don't know whether Burns needs a bit of a break or something. Maybe bring on KVY for Burns at some point, who's obviously better on the defensive side. But that's it. We've got a good squad. We've just got to hope that, our next league game's now not till Exeter. So we've got the FA Cup game, which hopefully should be a good kind of intensive training session where we do him over, right? Famous last words. He's going to clip that up and we get Dick 4-0 on TV or something. But no, I just think let's remain a bit positive. Back to the team. We're still second, right? And we're still up there. And we'll carry on charging through the season. Exeter will be a tough game. Don't underestimate them, especially the way they attack.
Cheltenham's
was it Cheltenham? Sorry, Cheltenham's at home, isn't it? Yeah. I can't make that
on the telly. Yeah, extra on the TV. Yeah.
Yeah, Cheltenham. I think we should do Cheltenham. I think we'll prove like how we did with Morecambe and Burton this season that we can do these teams. We'll have enough about them, but the Exeter one's going to be a tougher one. I think you got players like Giovanni Brown who plays for them. But I'm hoping because he plays on the left, and I think him and JD used to play together quite a lot. So I'm hoping JD knows his game and can just block him off. But yeah, calling for JD to be dropped. Just stop this nonsense, guys. Come on.
Very quickly before I let you go, Sam Morsey into the corner. What are your thoughts on that one?
Like I just said, if you felt that our defense could deal with an attack coming in, because it's not a case of wave after attack we're dealing with. They have an attack, and then out of 2 they're getting a goal. So every other attack they're getting a goal. That's not good. So if I'm in Morsey's position and I'm that player in the corner and we're up, I'm thinking I still need another goal here, just in case. So you're always going to try and score. But that's the way we play. We play attacking football anyway. But we'll see. It's one of those. It's not a loss. We're still up there, and we will be champions in May. And not Fleetwood when they crown that king, innit? Not King Charles. It's King McKenna. Yeah, that's who they're going to crown at Fleetwood away.
Love it. Callie, look after yourself. All
Good one,
great stuff from the King. Got Colin waiting in the wings before I bring Colin in. Anything else you want to finally say before we turn over to Colin to finish on a positive high? Because Colin, is a very positive gentleman. Rich?
I don't agree with Callie there saying we need another goal. You've literally got a minute left of the game. It's called professionalism.
I'm thinking though. Yeah.
No, not with a minute left. Not the position he was in. Ladapo's to his left. Freddie, get down by the corner flag, get a corner, get a throw in, free kick. So the game's dead. You look. You're in that moment. You are in that moment. But the good teams, Martin, the good teams do the right things and they make the right decisions. You know, and I'm not saying we're not a good team, but we can't be having this again. We cannot be chucking 2-goal leads away just like that, and not really. If you look at the goals, Matt, that we've conceded this season, how many good goals have a team scored against us?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
none. Hardly any are good goals. They're all avoidable.
Maybe the Plymouth winner was a good goal.
That was a good goal.
What would we say on Friday night? Most of them have been set pieces, have they not?
They have. Maybe Sam Morsey saw, the fisherman buying the Mancini, and he thought, right, I've got to get that goal. Come on, let's do it. Because everyone wants to see that, don't they? But Matt,
no, they don't. They don't want to see that.
No, I know they don't.
The proof will be in the pudding. Then you can make your goal. I've got nothing else to add. Like I say, I was really gutted yesterday. My son said, "Dad, do you want to come play PlayStation?" I said, "Let Dad reflect for a few minutes of what's taken place." But yeah, today I've woken up and, I thought the game, I did say on Charlton Live, I thought it'd be 1-1. We might sneak it 2-1. It's just hard to take in it when you suddenly go from 4-2 to 4-4. But it is what it is. It's gone. We're still second. There's still plenty to be positive about. Hopefully we can learn from this. Maybe there's a learning from this in the future. We won't get carried away and we will keep our composure. And it will bear itself out over the next 29 games.
But just human nature, though, Matt, to celebrate that hard. You've got over 3,000. It's in front of your travelling fans.
Several beers.
I see. I don't know. It was a while back in the chat. Someone said about you should just walk back to the halfway line. We're not in the 80s and the 70s now. There's a little handshake and a pat on the back.
It's a little bit different.
You have to show that emotion, but you have to control it as well.
Yeah, I wish someone had just been there to say, "Calm it down, lads. We've still got to kick off here."
Yeah. I'll get a couple of comments. Glenn Burns
just get him in.
Word in a second. Burns had 2 goals at this point last season. Just check. Emerson talking to Boy after the game. The emotion of the game took over. 80, we've been hit fairly hard with injuries, but we have a squad that can cope. Other teams are due. Some don't have the depth we have. Carl, we love to make it hard for ourselves. It's the Ipswich Town way. Norman, lack of concentration and composure has led to poor game management. Paul P, I think a lot of our players get arrested against Bracknell. Carl Brooks again had to go to the corner, go in a free kick or throw in. Josh Russell, don't call Bez, we dropped. JD looks tired, needs a game to rest. Sorry, Callie, but that's facts. Kev, in the cold light of day, it's an opinion of Josh, but I'll let it go. In the cold light of day, in 17 games, the only team that has gained points on us which matter are Plymouth. We need to relax. And very true. Yeah, I said to my wife said to me, "Oh, well, at least you didn't lose." And I said, "Don't say that. Don't say that. Don't ever say that."
It's like your mum say that. Don't ever
say that. That's why the title of the show is Elation to Deflation, because it was the massive high to the massive low. Yeah. And I think only football
can do that.
Sport can do this to you because it brings you down so quick, doesn't it?
I've got the Cowboys Bears later on. They're about to get dicked by the Cowboys. So I mean, just fuck's sake. But what I would say is we have that song, don't we? We've got Kieran McKenna, right? And McKenna has so far been seen as this Superman with all of the answers. Any answer League One wants to present, McKenna has the answer to. And you almost, as a fan, fall into that trap of it's all going to be okay because we've got Kieran McKenna. Whereas games like yesterday sort of reveal that mask and think. And it makes you think, oh, shit, he hasn't got all of the answers. Like, we're Ipswich Town still. We can still F this up. And it makes you feel a little bit insecure because you're like, oh, Christ.
I think
we haven't
you're
got
right. You're absolutely right. And I think yesterday presented a moment that you can't really legislate for in that you've scored twice in the injury time.
Yeah.
Like you said, the benches have cleared. It's only in reflection that he's gone, we didn't keep our composure. And you can't legislate for that, can you?
No.
Because you can't pre-organise, if you see what I mean. Because like Rich said, emotion took over.
Yeah, because the starting 11, why you didn't disagree with it, went 2-0 up, and John Jules was a big part of that. Then his substitutions won in what you think won in the game. You're thinking Superman, Kieran McKenna is here again. It's all nice and safe. We've got Kieran McKenna, Super Kieran McKenna. Yeah. And then it turns out you hadn't got
exactly what we need.
Yeah, but this is it. You fall into that full sense of Superman.
It's a great song. It's a great song. We were belting it out, and we'll belt it out wherever we go.
Yeah, for sure. But after previous managers where it wasn't so cut and dry of we've got a Superman in charge who knows all the answers, knows every team's kryptonite, it suddenly makes you feel that little bit bare, Colin, that little bit naked, and you're like, oh my God, this is not quite as done and dusted as we all thought it was going to be.
How you doing, Colin?
Hello, Matt.
I worried for you. I worried for you yesterday, Colin. I worried for you yesterday, Colin, after your health scare, and then you got 8 goals, roller coaster game.
I'll tell you what, Matt. I said to somebody not so long ago, do you know what? And my missus knows this. You know, whenever I go, I want to go either at my home or at a football ground. Full stop. That's how I am. That's how I am. You know, that's how I am. If I weren't at home, I'd want to go at a football ground.
I'll tell you what.
I'll tell you what, Rich. Wait a minute, Rich. There's one thing that hasn't been mentioned today, and I'll tell you what, I said it to Matt and Kaz several times yesterday. I'll tell you, every time a goal went in, I said it was for Martin. And I'll tell you what, I know Rich did, I so wanted, I swear to God, I so wanted to win that game of football. I didn't care whether it was 1-0, 4-2, 10-0. I didn't care what it was. I just wanted that game to be won for that man yesterday. And I'll tell you what, another thing I'd like to say hasn't been mentioned. I actually, on Andy's phone, I tweeted, I got Andy to tweet it for me to the actual football club, that I'll tell you what, that club was class this last few days. Class. And I'll tell you why. Not in my memory, and I've been going for 59 years, since I was 7 years of age. Not in my memory, and if I'm wrong, I'll hold my hands up and I'll back down to anybody who tells me differently. Not once since I've been supporting that football club as the players wore black armbands for a supporter. Now, I know he was chairman of the Ipswich Town Football Club. It's something he really, really wanted to do. And great honour for him, okay? But we've had chairman of that football club before who we've sadly lost. And never, ever, in my mind or my memory, have I ever known the players to wear black armbands. I'll tell you, whoever that came from, whether it be the owners, Mr. O'Leary, Mark Ashton, or whoever made that decision, or collectively, if you made that decision, I applaud you 100%. That was fucking class. Class.
You're right.
Yeah, it's like Emerson says there. Look, we were going to do the 53rd minute, and then we literally scored on 52 into the 53rd. And it was, I thought that was when we got that third goal. I thought, like, that's for Martin. And I said to you this morning, Colin, I can just look and just think how he would have celebrated, how he would have felt at the end, and he would have felt like the same as all of us. He would have been absolutely gutted, you know, like we all were. But listen,
and I'll tell you what, Rich, going on for what you said earlier. I mean, we saw each other, didn't we? We didn't really know what to say to each other, bud, did we?
No.
At the end, did we?
No,
we didn't know what to say. I'll tell you what. I know it's a really ridiculous thing to say, Matt, Rich, and Gov. But you know what? I don't know if you were the same, Rich. I weren't actually gutted. Like, you know, like when I come out of the bridge in 75, when we lost the Hammers, you know, I was gutted, more than gutted, right? But I weren't really gutted. I was like shell-shocked.
Yeah.
You know? I've never seen anything like it, kind of thing. Look, we've seen these games before, like Rich sent me the clip this morning, the 90 game. I mean, but that weren't the same, obviously. It weren't the same because it was 4 bloody goals in injury time, you know. And I'll tell you one thing I've got to say to Callie. There's no way in the world that, you know, I was knocking Morsey. I mean, Morsey, like everybody else has said, Morsey should have, and he will do now. Rich is absolutely right. He will go down to, look, I was saying to Matt Stannard will tell you. I said to Matt Stannard, when it once or twice, not just Morse, once or twice, we got the ball when it was 4-2 or 4-3. I said, we got the ball like near the 18 yard, yeah. Go down in the corner, be a S house, right? And I don't particularly like that kind of football. I like Callie's football. I like the Brazilian way, if you like, where, you know, we'll score more goals than you. Gov loves it. You know, but I do. I love that kind of football. And I'll tell you what, we've been so many years now, Martin, of this absolute crap, abysmal, dull football. And now we're moaning. No, we're not. No, correction. We're not moaning. Now we're just discussing about a 4-4 that should have been a victory. Okay, we all know that. But it went the other way, and we're really more than deflated. And like I said the other day, Venezia never says it now. I can remember coming back from First Division games, and Venezia, like, you know, hadn't really thought into, you know, we might have lost. I remember a game we lost 1-0, ran about Christmas to Luton, more or less, at the end of the day, more or less cost us the title. But I come home, and Venezia goes, yeah, but it's only a defeat. What have you just said to me? You know, and like we was chasing the title, Rich. You know what I mean, Matt? And I'll get that, Gov. Oh my God, I don't think I remember Venezia saying that for about 30 years, really. But no, I know what you're saying, and it's we are 1 point. Look, Josh said earlier to me in the chat, and I get what he said. So I said, come on, you know, try to lift everybody's spirits. And I said, we are 1 point from the top. And Josh quite rightly said that only till tomorrow. And I said, and I thought about that. I thought, no, I'm not going to get in a slagger match with you. But at the end of the day, he's right. He's right. But Exeter can win that football game. And to be fair, Exeter are not a bad side. And
no chance.
Score a lot of goals.
No chance. I'll have to tell you with you.
It is what it is. It is what it is. Yeah. Oi, Rich, you did not think that Bristol Rovers would get a result with Sheffield Wednesday.
I didn't, but when I look at Plymouth and
there you go. There you go.
He also
1-8 out of 8 at home, and they've got Exeter coming there, and I think we'll roll them.
And they're a very good side. But did you? All right, and I'll put a question to all three of you. Did all three of you think we'd lose 1-0 to Lincoln?
Oh God,
no.
It's only Lincoln, he said.
Yeah, but you know, what we got to say to ourselves is, it's like Charlton yesterday. You know, we got to take the positives out of the negatives. They done Exeter. They put 4 past Exeter. You know, they put 3 past Pompey. They put 5 past Plymouth.
Big up, Rakeem the Dream.
You know, they scored. They hadn't been until they lost to MK Dons. They hadn't been beaten at home all season. Scored quite a lot of goals at home. It's a kind of place. I mean, I personally think I agree with Rich what he said the other day. I thought the first half. I thought, to use Rich's words, they were actually pony. I thought they were awful in the first half, personally, Charlton. I thought they pepped up a little bit in the second half. But we weren't brilliant in the first half. I agree. We had a chat this morning. But, you know, we are where we are. And, you know, we're a million miles away from this, you know, from last season, the last couple of 3 years. So, you know, we've just got to, you know, I said from day one, we'll win this league, and I personally think when we get Callie's right, when we get the likes of Greg Lee back, you know, when he was coming up the leaf, we get Greg Lee back, we get Sonny back, we get Cameron back properly. Well, no, he's a quality footballer. He's a quality footballer. I'll tell you what, actually, no, Gov, hold your head in shame, because I tell you what, that game yesterday. Do you agree with me, Matt?
No, Colin. No.
Hear me out, Gov. Please hear me out.
I know what you're going to say. And
that game yesterday would have been perfect 4-2 to put an Alugo on. Hold the ball. Hold the ball. Keep the ball.
He wouldn't have gone for a goal, Colin. He'd have gone to the corner flag.
No, because...
Sorry?
He would have gone to the corner flag. Sonny would.
Well, there you go. There you go.
If I speak, I'm in trouble.
He might have given you that Premier League experience of everyone celebrating. Let's have some calm heads, because that was certainly missing, wasn't it?
What is Gov's opinion of that, please?
He speaks, he's in trouble, he says.
Well, do you think that would have helped us with Sonny coming on at 4-2?
No. You have Richard Keogh on there. You have Richard Keogh on there calming everybody. Oh, no, he weren't calming everybody down. He was going absolutely mental when the fourth goal on there.
He was.
I actually think you're missing Lee Evans more than Sonny Aluko, personally, out of anybody that's injured. But certainly, I've not seen enough from Aluko
I would not dispute that one little bit.
Oh no! I know.
Not at all.
No, certainly not. Colin, I could talk about this all day with you. In fact, I probably will on WhatsApp. But the dogs are barking, the clock is ticking, and I have to let you go. Look after yourself.
Cheers, Colin.
And stay healthy, my man. But yeah, certainly any more of those, they will not do Colin any world of good. Let's be honest. Lots of fantastic comments throughout the course of the show. Thank you all so much. At times, it's felt like I've been in the town defence, losing my mind as well, because there's been so many comments. I've struggled to keep up with them and the conversation on the screen. So apologies if I've not got your comment.
I do agree with you, Gov. I watched the full-time show back yesterday. The last 10 minutes was like an under-10s football match.
Yeah.
One way, you attack, you score. It was, wasn't it?
It was, and everyone throws the ball.
I've never seen anything like that, and you probably won't support in town for the next 20 or 30 years.
Well, you certainly hope not.
Who knows? Who knows this season?
We've seen a fair few this year, let alone this season.
Very true.
But we're done. We're dusted. I might cancel tomorrow's show just so I can watch Raheem the Dream live on Sky tear Plymouth apart.
I'm interested to see Rich is ruling Exeter out, because they ruined your Acca the other week.
I honestly can't see them going down to home park. It is
Jabani Brown they've got.
Yeah, Jabani Brown was talking about. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. You just don't. Look, who could have predicted 8 goals yesterday? You don't know what's going to happen. It's just why you play the games. Yeah,
it is. You're right. But I won some money yesterday, which I was very, very happy about.
You got 30 quid on.
I won 30 quid on George Edmondson on an anytime scorer bet, so I was delighted when he
free bet.
It was from a £1 free bet. Yeah, it was delighted, or a couple of quid free, but whatever it was. And then I put a bit of that, not a great deal, I'm going to be honest with you, on Sam Morsey.
You absolute bottler.
No, what do you mean? But I put a bit of it on Sam Morsey anytime.
That Rob did as well.
No, I'd already told her indoors that I'd won the 30 quid. I couldn't exactly put it all on, because then she'd say, "Where's that 30 quid?" And I'd have to say, "Well, I put it on Sam Morsey."
Free money.
Yeah, but once you've won money, Rich, you don't want to give it away, So I put a little bit on it, and I won a bit more. So it was a bittersweet day, really. So when she said, "At least you didn't lose," I went to Tesco's to buy some milkshake, because I was like, "I'm not having that conversation. That's too much. I'm leaving. I'll be back in a bit." That's like, no, don't talk to me if you're going to say that sort of stuff, because that's just not helpful. But the garage needs to be worked on, Rich. So you better be getting off, mate. Hit the like button, hit subscribe, and join us. Join us again tomorrow.
He can hear everything, Susie. He can hear everything.
Crazy from just the thought of you.